Hello and welcome to the show. This is Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. Welcome to the show.
Here we are. Good morning.
Here we are, and we've been talking for about a half hour off air. Little depressed here this morning because this week we lost one of the greats, great guitarist, musician, songwriter, Eddie Van Halen.
Different backgrounds, right? We're different age, but we were talking a little bit, and I remember when the first Van Halen album came out when I was a kid, and that was awesome.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That definitely is being a kid from Detroit, where Detroit Rock City, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you threw rock and roll, even though they were a California band, I mean. It definitely impacted.
Yeah, well, the radio stations in Detroit were rock. There was like a lot of rock stations, and of course Riff,
WRIF,
baby. Yes, great rock station. No, absolutely. And I remember I was in the 5th grade. This would have been in 82. I was in the 5th grade, and I remember saying to my mom, "Is every song out there a love song?" Because I was looking for something different, and I didn't know about Van Halen at the time.
Right.
Okay, and then it was late 1983, 84 is when 1984 came out, the album 1984, and when I got that, it was life-changing. And I got my drum set that year, and so pretty much I just stayed in my room, headphones on, listening to 1984 and playing the drums, and Alex Van Halen became like a god to me, but
they were an amazing band, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, we'll get over it.
We'll get past it.
We'll move on, but that one's gonna sting for quite a while.
Absolutely.
All right, so it is time to do. Now that we're at the end of September, it is time to do a market update on where we're at.
Yeah, we usually wait till we get into at least get everything posted, because there's things that close and that. Offices don't necessarily update within a day or so, but they get it posted. Always good for folks to understand what the market's doing, because you listen to the national media, oh my God, everything's on fire, you blah, blah, blah. But real estate is local, and that's what we want to do is break it down to the local stats. So if you look at the county, so the entire county, and again, this is data from January 1st through the end of September of this year, the overall number of units sold is down 2%.
Okay.
For the county, the number of units sold is down 2%. Now, again, it's relatively small sample size. So there were, last year there were 934 units sold by the end of that month, by the end of September.
Okay.
This year, 911. So it's only 23 units, but it's 2%. So relatively significant. The volume sold, though, is up 14% for the county. So the number sold down 2%, the volume sold up 14%. What do you think that does to average sales price?
Goes up.
Increases. The average sales price is up in the county 17% year over year.
Wow.
Now, again, as I've talked before, it's a relatively small sample size. You have a couple of large transactions that'll really skew that average sales price.
Okay.
But the bottom line is the market is still hot. Prices are relatively high. There's a lot of demand. But the number of homes available for sale, again, through the same time period, year over year is down 12% year over year.
Okay.
So the number of homes on the market that have been on the market, down 12% year over year.
Okay.
So obviously that leads to the increase in sales price.
Right.
While you've got the demand, the
Supply
sales
demand.
price is going to go up.
Right.
So that's the county. If you break it down to the zip code 46580, which is where we kind of focus because it pulls that late market out of there, the transactions, the number of houses sold actually went up 5%.
Okay.
Remember, the county's down 2%.
Sure.
Warsaw 46580 up 5%. The volume sold up 11%. The average sales price in the Warsaw market up 6%.
Which is that more in line with national numbers?
That's more in line with what the expectations are.
Okay.
Yeah. Back pre-crash, 0809, and it seems like forever ago because it is now, right? I mean, that's over 10 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
We were averaging between 3 and 4% for standard real estate appreciation per year. So seeing 6%, that's more in line with what I would expect in the seller's market. It's down from where we were seeing 10% year over year because that is not sustainable long term. There is no way that a house that would have sold at $100,000 a year ago, 110 this year, is going to go up another 10% next year, another 10% next year. Wages don't increase that much. Employment doesn't increase that much. There's no way that could continue.
So it has to slow down.
It has to slow down, and it's beginning to.
Okay.
So we're at 6% on average year over year. The average price increase.
Now, is that just because of the time of year that we're in, or is it because do you really feel like the overall market is slowing down? I mean, are we looking at 2021 thinking like it's slowing down, or maybe is the election affecting this?
It's all of the above.
Okay.
Along with, typically in October, we tend to see a dip in activity.
Okay.
And then we see one more surge prior to the holidays. When I say one more surge, there's people, they were getting ready for Labor Day, kids going back to school, all of that stuff. Yeah. Activity slowed down. End of September, hey, we need to buy a house, let's go. We'll start looking again. We'll see more pendings. And then through the end of the year, it tends to taper off. Mm-hmm. So it's typical in October, we see a slow. This doesn't mean there's not buyers out there. There just aren't as many people out there looking. We tend to see a little dip. We'll get one more surge, and then it'll taper off and then pick back up, into February, into March, when the spring selling season starts again.
I imagine probably like the week of Thanksgiving, that's when it pretty much slows down.
It slows down. There's not many people doing much of anything at that time.
Because the homes are decorated for the holidays and all that.
Right.
So, no, that makes sense. Okay, but still, I mean, those are some really good numbers.
Overall, the market's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And multi-offers are still coming in. So, okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good. Hey, we're going to go over some acronyms come up here next. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. Welcome back, listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skabowski of Remax Lakes. And we just did a market update. And again, market's still hot, but slowing down a little bit as we
tending to slow a little bit,
head into a fourth quarter, getting ready for the holidays and all that. So
and the election.
And the election, yes.
Interest rates are still great, though.
Yeah, I know they are.
If you're thinking about buying, it's still a great time to buy. If you're a seller, you're probably on the tail end of it, but who knows? The national talking heads think that 2021 is still going to be a good year, so it's not too late.
Yeah.
But I think we're starting that. We're not going to see price appreciation as high as what it is.
Okay, but the Feds aren't talking about increasing the rates at all.
Interest rates are not they're not planning to increase them. But 2021, I don't think. Of course, we said that in 19. We don't think 20 is going to be as good. Well, guess what? 20 has been pretty darn good as well.
Yeah.
So who knows at this point?
I know
statistics are what they are.
Mortgage originators are very, very busy right now.
Yes, they are. Everybody related to the finance process is extremely busy right now.
Yeah, they are. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So the second part of the show, we're going to go over some acronyms that every home buyer should know that agents talk about a lot in the real estate world. But let's go over some of these acronyms.
All right, so NAR. You'll hear me say that on the show thinking that everybody knows what I'm talking about. Captain Skabowski, 22 years in the military. The military's got a lot of acronyms.
Yes.
Well, so does real estate. So NAR, National Association of Realtors.
Okay.
So when you hear an agent say NAR, that's what they're talking about. Well, NAR says so-and-so. NAR. What? I don't know. It's
kind of sound like a pirate, a pirate saying no.
Exactly. FRM. You might hear a mortgage lender say this.
Okay.
Fixed mortgage rate or fixed rate mortgage.
I never heard that one
before.
Yeah,
I have not heard it either, but as I'm Googling stuff to try to get ready for the show, this pops up. I'm like, oh, great. Now I have heard this one. ARM.
Oh, yes.
Now, we don't hear many of those anymore because interest rates are so low.
Oh, right.
So, an adjustable rate mortgage, back in the day, you would get a fixed rate for a specific amount of time, 5 years, 7 years, 3 years, and then it would adjust to the current interest rate. In fact, when we bought our first house here in Warsaw, we did an ARM. We did a 7-year ARM. So it was basically the first 7 years, the rate was fixed because it was lower than what the 30-year interest rate was at the time.
Yeah.
And at the end of 7 years, it incrementally went up to whatever the market rate was at that time. Now, we refinanced before we got stuck with that higher rate.
Yes.
But that's back in the day when interest rates were relatively high. Lenders, in order to get people into houses, would do ARMs. We don't see them much anymore at 3%. Doing an ARM, you're not going to say, "Oh, I'll take 3% today on the possibility I might get 6% in 5 years."
Nope.
No thanks. People are not going to do that.
Okay.
FHA, Federal Housing Administration. We talk about FHA loans.
Yes, we do.
Federal Housing Administration. I've used the term PMI.
Mm-hmm.
That is private mortgage insurance. So if you have less than 20% equity in the loan when you start the loan, you need to pay private mortgage insurance. And what that mortgage insurance does is protects the bank.
Yep.
It doesn't protect you. It ensures that if you default on the loan, the bank is going to get paid. Mm-hmm. So you're paying for insurance to protect the bank.
Yep. I just know I don't like to pay PMI.
No.
I didn't know what it stood for.
That's right.
I know I don't like to pay it.
I know. I don't like to pay that stuff that goes to nothing.
Yes, exactly.
So if you can have 20% down and do not have to pay mortgage insurance,
then you're
bonus.
Good. Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Here's one that you'll hear it. People talk about it in different terms, but PITI. When you're talking to a loan officer, they'll say that a lot. That is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Mm-hmm. So it's a more complete list of expenses to expect from your monthly mortgage payment. It's all of the things that bundle. A lot of times we talk about payment. And generally all we're talking about is principal and interest.
Right, correct.
But when they say this PITI, they're saying how much are your taxes per month. Mm-hmm. If they're $1,200 a year, they're $100 a month. Add that in.
Yep.
And then insurance. How much is your insurance going to cost? So when a lender looks at your loan, they're looking at that full amount. Not just can you afford the principal and interest, they're adding in taxes and insurance. So that PITI.
Okay.
Here's one that I actually had an agent ask me the other day.
Really?
They did. They said, "What is an REO loan? What does it mean? Or what is an REO?"
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it.
But I don't know what it means either.
It means real estate owned.
Okay.
REO, that's what the acronym is for, is real estate owned. So the REO properties, they're foreclosed upon by lenders when the borrowers fail to make the payment. So when we say someone's an REO broker, means they list a lot of REO properties, means they list a lot of foreclosure properties. Mm-hmm. Probably the last two, we'll hit them pretty briefly. CMA. So in this article, they said certified market analysis. We use the term comparative market analysis. It's where we analyze your property to come up for the list price. What do we think it's going to sell for?
Okay.
So CMA, and probably the last one that we talk about all the time is MLS.
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
It's the multiple listing service, and it's multiple because it goes out to multiple locations, multiple agents.
I see. All right.
There you go.
Yeah, very good information for everybody who is potentially or are home buyers. Very, very good information. All right. Hey, your contact information.
Sure. The website's lakes-realtors.com. Phone numbers 574-834-1233. We do pop this out on YouTube. It's under Real Estate in Real Time. Feel free to check it out.
And I like some of our mistakes that you put out there as well. So.
We haven't had too many lately, but let's work on that.
Okay. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.